Hello there people, and welcome to this video which is all about the digital T-level. So you know I'm a computer science teacher, but I also have been teaching the digital T-level for a few years now, and this is the digital production design and development strand of the digital T-level. Now inside that you've got three assessments. That is core component 1, core component 2 and the employer set project, which each one is equally weighted to the third. This one, I'm now talking about task 4A specifically in the employer set project. So this is pretty niche, this people. So if you're with me, you'll be looking specifically at the technical element of the ESP, which is part 4A, developing a solution. Now this is worth a total of 34 marks, and it takes 4 hours to complete. And this is the sample that I'm looking at here. I'm sure over the years I'll do some more specific examples from the past, etc. But this is the sample that is on Pearson's website, which is the exam board for this. So it says here, there's the instructions to the students. You get 4 hours to complete the task, etc. You get 2 documents, task 4A data, so a CSV file and a Python file. And your work must be kept securely at all times, so you probably have exam accounts, etc. at your school, college, etc. Now, the scenario, the set task brief here, it says the design ideas for the currency conversion part of the solution that you have worked on in task 3 have been reviewed by your manager. A senior developer has coded the solution and your manager has presented it to RBSX Group Limited. And that's what the scenario is about. It's about this company called RBSX Group Limited, and they seem to deal with currency conversions. So since RBSX Group Limited have requested some additional functionality to be added to further develop the solution, you need to have a look and develop this further for 34 marks. So the file task 4A data CSV contains the data that needs to be used for the solution, and task 4A currency conversion.py contains the code that the senior developer has produced. So you don't cold code this, you have some code already that you can mess around with. So develop the programming code for the data service so that it meets the new system and the user requirements provided in the set task information. So it says there you must consider the security requirements, secure coding principles and practices, etc., and mitigate against potential threats and vulnerabilities. Ensure that your code is maintainable, readable, and functional. Follow accepted programming conventions, and you do not need to formally document your testing. Then it talks about how you submit this. So this is our set task information that we need to provide our solution for 34 marks. RBSX Group Limited have provided updated system requirements. The updated requirements are that the existing code provided allows users to input an amount in one currency and convert this to another currency based on the most up-to-date figures provided. The solution must also identify trends and patterns over time for the value of the pound to US dollar and the value of US dollar to the pound. The solution must be secure. And it says RBSX Group Limited have also provided user requirements for the solution. And these are that it needs to be easy to use, display information in a meaningful way, and also make use of appropriate textual, numerical, and graphical output in a way that would be relevant to the end user. Now I thought it might be useful in the first video to actually walk through the code and fully understand it. I recommend to my students that you must understand the base code first before adding any functionality. Understand how it works. So let's have a look then. Let's get this project up and running. So I've got the 2 documents provided, and this is the paper I was just reading out. Now I'm going to create or use a Visual Studio application for this. And there we are. I'm just going to create a new project. It's going to be a Python project. And I'm going to call it task 4A solution. I'm going to make sure it's saved in the right place for me. This is solution folder. It's going to go in there and create it. Okay, so there it is. There is my Visual Studio project. And if I just look at the files here for a second, solution, there's task 4A solution. There is my solution file. And then you can see here I've got a Python project and I've got a Python file in there. So what I need to do is I need to take my two documents, these two documents provided, I'm going to copy those and I'm going to put them in my directory right next to that Python file. And you'll see I've got task 4a currency conversion. I'm just going to copy that. I'll open up my data as well. Got to understand what the data is for, or what it's reading. And there's the data. I've got dates, so starting at the 18th of December 2020. I've got all my currencies up here as well. There's quite a few actually. What's that? Australian dollar, Japanese yen, GBP is pounds, and we've got US dollars in there and euros as well. All the way down. Look at the dates. The dates seem to be increasing. So this would be the newest data down here. Okay, newest data at the bottom. Oldest data at the top. But that's what it looks like. I've got rows, I've got columns, all specified by the date. So that's my data. Right, so that's in there now. Okay, good. Task force solution. Now, I need to get my project in here so I can edit it. So if I'm in Visual Studio, I'm going to go to Project, Add Existing Item, and you'll see Currency Conversion. Okay, add that in. I'm going to right click on this and set this as my startup file. This one I don't really need anymore, I don't think. Get rid of that, I suppose. There we go. Double click. Okay, there's my data. And you can see at the first line it's got an import pandas there and it's not gone purple yet. I imagine it's still reading in at the moment. I have got pandas installed, I believe. Yep, I do. There it is. So let me just run this, see if it works. It's a good sign. There you go, it looks like it's imported. And this is the menu that I am provided with. So, firstly, it says which conversion would you like to make today? And I've put pound sterling to euros, so I put in there number 1. Please enter your choice, 1 to 6. What happens if I put something outside the range? Sorry, did not enter. Oh, well done, exam board. Spelling error. Enter the, okay, right. Put in a valid choice, 1. It says enter the amount you wish to convert, 10. £10 to euros, please. That will be 11.7 in euros. Press any key to continue. And I do that. And it stops. Wonderful. Okay. So let's see what this code actually does. I import pandas. Okay, if you're not aware of pandas, pandas is what we use to import the CSV file into different series, and it gets the data frame, or it creates the data frame from the CSV file, which allows us to access all the columns, which are called series, and all of the rows. The menu function generates the user interface and accepts and validates user choice. Now what I'm going to do, now I would strongly recommend doing this in your assessment, is just put a breakpoint on the first line that's going to run. So I'm just going to look, that's a procedure call, it's a procedure. It needs to be called somewhere. It's not called yet. It's not called yet. So I think this is the first line that will run, I believe, because it's got a procedure call. I'm going to put a breakpoint on there. So breakpoints are in the margins here, put them on, take them off, etc. And it allows me to stop the code wherever I'm up to. So run this. There you go. So it breaks on line 52 and it allows me to see now where the code's going to go next. So I believe that this is going to call menu bracket bracket, which is line 5. So if I press F11 or press this button here, step into, I'll go to line 5, which I did. And now I've gone to line 7. So I'm going to run the code inside this subroutine menu. Flag equals true, while flag prints the menu, and then it asks the user, please enter the number of your choice. So, okay, screen comes up, enter number 1. So I want GBP to euros. Now it looks like we've got a try except else block. So what this does is it tries to run the code on line 25, and it looks like int bracket bracket is trying to cast menu choice, which is 1 as a string, into an integer. So does 1 turn into an integer? It looks like it does. If it didn't, it would run line 27 and line 28. So now we're inside line 29 has been accessed and we're on line 30 now. If the integer of menu choice, which is 1, is less than 1, or the integer of menu choice is greater than 6. So at the moment, this is 1 is not less than 1, or it's not greater than 6. So we are inside the right bounds. So this is a range check. And that means I skip to the else part here of the if statement and it returns menu choice, which is 1. So we send 1 back to wherever we called it from. There we go. Back on line 52. So 1 gets passed over into menu choice now. So if I hover over it, you'll see menu choice has the value of 1. The next thing to do now is line 53, get currency. So it runs this get currency subroutine, which is, it's here, get currency on line 38. So it jumps up to 38 and it runs line 39, which looks to me, with squiggly brackets, it looks like it's a dictionary. And in the first position here, we've got GBP to euros, euros to pounds, pounds to Australian dollars to pounds, pounds to Japanese yen to pounds. So it goes through, builds the dictionary, and dictionaries have values, or keys and values, should I say. So here's the keys, and here's the values. And this says currencies.get menu choice. So you can see there, when I hover over it, my menu choice is 1. So what's it going to pull out of there? It's going to pull out GBP to euros. So it pulls that out. And if I hover over currency, you can see now it says GBP to euros. And that's because I chose option 1. So the currencies.get asks for the key, which is 1, and it returns the value from the key. And then it sends currency back. So it sends GBP to euros back to wherever it was called, which is here. And currency now holds the value of GBP to euros. After that line is complete, we move down the code, and it says here, we've got a couple of comments. The get conversion rate function uses pandas to get the latest version conversion rate and imports a CSV file into a data frame. It uses the iloc to get the last/most recent value from the selected column. Now these annotations are put in specifically to help you out, so you need to read them and understand them. 59, def, so subroutine, get conversion rate here. We jump past that because we've not called get conversion rate yet, and we do that on line 67. So conversion rate, this variable, is given the value of whatever the result is of the function call here, and this jumps back up to line 59 onto line 60, and it says df. So that stands for data frame. It's a variable, but they use the same naming conventions as me. df data frame equals pd, so pandas. If I go right to the top, you can see pd here is my pandas pointer. pd.read_csv will read in the CSV called task4a_data.csv. Now, a couple of these projects I've seen that these names of these are named incorrectly, so the exam board has spelled it wrong for whatever reason. I'm just going to check that this is spelled exactly the same way. Task4a_data. That looks correct to me. So that's correct and that's correct, because this is what it's going to be calling at the end of the day. And you need to make sure that this is in your root file directory, which is next to your Python file in your files. After it's done that and read it in, the data frame now, there you go, hover over it, you can see all of the data. It contains everything from your spreadsheet, which is all of this. All been loaded in thanks to pandas. Now, conversion rate equals round, open bracket, df, square brackets, currency, dot iloc -1, 2. What the hell is going on there? Well, let's put some annotation in so you can read it. Now, if I use the round function, you can put data in there followed by how many places you'd like to round it to. So if you think about this, my data is df, square brackets, currency. There you go. Then we use something called the iloc to get the index location of what. And if you put -1 in there, it does this, the last most recent value from the selected column. So this line in its entirety is simply going to the spreadsheet, going all the way down to iloc -1, which is this, the last piece of data in your spreadsheet, and it's returning the cell from the column GBP EUR, because that's the one I selected, remember. And it's going right down the column to the last date, and it's getting 1.167962. So if I press F11 again, you'll see now that in the conversion rate, we return a specific value. And our conversion rate now is 1.17. And that's what this conversion rate does here. And if you think about it, it's rounded it to 2 decimal places. So what is 1.167962 to 2 decimal places? It's 1.7. Excellent. So that looks like it works. Conversion rate's in there now. And then we move down from line 69 onto line 89, because we haven't called line 73 yet. That's done on line 89. So it says conversion amount equals float, so casting to a float, whatever comes out of the subroutine called get amount to convert. So it goes up into line 73 and it prints you are converting, and our currency is GBP to EUR. And we can see that on our output screen. There you go. Then the flag is set to true, and it says while the flag is true, which it is, conversion amount, so it says please enter the amount you wish to convert. And what I'll do now is I will type in the amount I wish to convert is £10 there. Back over, and we're going to try to see if this can be converted to a floating point value, which 10 can be. So that's fine. So it says return the conversion amount, and it casts it to a float anyway. So conversion amount has the float value of 10.0. After that, we move down to line 92, but because we've not called it, it jumps to line 99, and it says perform conversion. It says amount received equals the rounded to 2 decimal places. So it rounds to 2 decimal places, the conversion amount of 10.0 multiplied by the current conversion rate, which was 1.17 from before, to produce 11.7. Then it prints that out and it says you are converting. These squiggly brackets are formatting strings or string formats, and basically they are placeholders for these variables. Conversion amount, so that will get put in there, and then it's currency 0, what's this, square brackets 0:3. So if I hover over currency, this is a string slice. So what we do is we look at G is in position 0, so we take that. B is in position 1, so we take that. P is in position 2, so we take that. Now it says 0 to 3 there, but we go up 2, but not including 3. So it's 0, 1, and 2. So it takes GBP there. And then the second one, you will receive, amount received goes in there. Then it says currency 69. So what is 69? 0, 1, 2. Space is 3. Dash is 4. Space is 5. E is 6, so we take that. U is 7, so we take that. 8 is R, so we take that. And we go up to, but not including 9. And that's it. We output those for the user, and we are done. You can see there we're converting £10 in, well, £10 GBP, and you'll receive 11.7 euros, and that is our code completed. Now it's really, really important that you understand that, because this code here will give you everything you need to produce the final outputs required. I hope you found that useful. Check out the second video where we get into actually producing the solution for 34 marks, and I'll see you there.